here's what we're going to do. So I'll start off by telling you why the next session is so important. Now, for years, I've been writing all my own emails. Promotional content, I write my emails. Most of the emails you get from me, whether when they're being sent out, they're written by me. Now, lately, in interest of scaling and building more and bigger, company and bigger visions, I'm trying to find a way to start getting that off to somebody else. So that process started a few months ago, and that was the first time, I have to be very honest, that I came to learn that there truly is education that is needed on how to write a good email. So for the longest time, I used to teach writing good emails as follows. So you say, just write an email. Okay, thank you. And I started working with our marketing manager, and what would happen is I did exactly that. I said, hey, just write an email and send it out to the database. The next morning, I remember I woke up around 8 a.m. or so, kind of wiped my eyes, I checked my email, and it says from Anik Singal in the subject line, and I was like, what the heck? And I opened it, I said, oh my God, this is a nightmare. This is a really bad email. And so then I messaged him and I said, what is this? And he's like, what? I wrote an email. And I was like, okay, well, take a step back, buddy. This is, we gotta talk about all the different pieces. Now, in the last few months, he's been writing some, I write some, I actually enjoy it. It's something it's really fun for me. So what I found out was the more I gave to him, I also started getting separation anxiety. I missed it. And so I'd get jealous. Sometimes he'd send out emails. I didn't even know he was gonna email that day. And instead of being like, hey, wow, that's awesome, I used to get angry. Like, why didn't you pass this through me? And he's like, dude, we're delegation, you told me to do this. So I enjoy it. So sometimes I still write. But now that I've been teaching him, there's a lot of things that are very fresh on my mind that I've come to learn that I do, that I never knew I do. I don't consciously know this. It's 12 years of email writing experience, literally 12 years. So a lot of it becomes second nature. Like, for example, I'm trying to teach my wife how to drive right now. I'm like, just park the car. And she's like, but how? I'm like, I don't know, just park it. I just park. I move the wheel and it parks. Because we can't explain something once it becomes second nature. We just do it. We don't know how to necessarily teach. I can teach everything else because I've spent so much time teaching it. I figured out how to teach it. But this has truly been the first time I'm really teaching how to write emails. And it's been awesome. I mean, it's really good for you guys because I've come to learn all the things that are very necessary. So with him, now here's a glimmer of hope for you. This is a very recent story. He has been learning and so what happened is we mastered emails. His emails are excellent now. They have been for quite some time. Actually, his emails only took maybe a month, okay? And they were really good. But we've been having a battle over subject lines. Now, who would think? I again thought, there's a subject line. What's the big deal? It's got to be something catchy. It's got to make catch someone's eyes. Now, that's really easy said, but maybe not so easily done for someone who's never done it. So I pick and prone, and I really give him a hard time about subject lines. And again, I used to just tell him, hey, that wasn't a good subject line. And he'd say, well, tell me more. How can I make it a good subject line? And I'd give him the two big eyes back and be like, I don't know. I just know it's a bad subject line. So now what we do is I've been more actively involved. I rewrite the subject line the way I would want so that he gets a chance to see what I would do with it. And recently, just to give you guys awesome hope, he sent out an email. And this is like a few days ago. I woke up and I checked my email and it caught my attention. It's from myself to myself. And I was like, ooh. And I opened it. And I read the email and I thought, wow, this is an excellent, wholesome promotion. From subject line to the message, to the way the link is positioned, to all this is beautifully done. And then what happened is Meredith forwarded that email to the same guy, Dan, who wrote it, and said, by the way, this is an awesome email. I know you're learning how to write emails, and this is a testament to Anik's mastery of this. And so the guy responds, he says, actually, ... Anik had nothing to do with this, which is the truth. I had nothing, I didn't even know what was going out. So, but that was a really awesome moment for me. I loved it. You know, I love the fact that he can do this now. And I had nothing, I had like very little nitpicky thing to say. Just one tiny thing about the subject line, but it was tiny. It was inconsequential. It probably would make no difference from a marketing perspective. That's just me in my own head picking on something. So you totally can learn this, and you will start by not being so great, and you will move to becoming amazing. And your open rates and click rates will show that. That's what's really cool about learning how to write good emails, is there's a mathematical tracking you can do. You can actually see yourself get better. Even till this very day, I write some emails and subject lines that bomb. And it's so clear because I sent an email 2 days ago that had a 15% open rate. I send one out 2 days later and it has a 4% open rate. Believe me, that is a very clear sign from the list of either two things. Two things happened to create that. Either one, I wrote a really bad subject line, or two, I triggered spam filters. I did something in that email to trigger a spam filter, which meant most people didn't get my email. So although the same number of emails left the server, very few percentage got it, hence dropping my open rate by a lot, right? So it could have been the same percentage of received opened the email, but a lot less were received. So you're going to, in time, become very data-driven. One of the few datas I consistently check, even if I sit down once a week, I will go through all my promos and all my emails that week in every one of my accounts and all the niches, and just really quick, GetResponse gives you great visual data that you can look at within seconds and have full understanding. I'll go through each email, just quickly click it, look at the data, click it, look at the data, click it, look at the data. Just real quick, takes me not even 3 minutes. But that gives me, it's the perfect pulse of my list. I can see everything about what's going on with my list. If my open rates are dropping, something's bad's happening. Maybe we're pushing too hard. Maybe we need to change up things. I heard you talk about content. A lot of times my need to drive content is driven by my list, what they're doing. Sometimes we had a situation with one of our students who said, hey, listen, you've got to mail your list very consistently. One of the greatest myths out there is that people think I should mail my list very infrequently. You actually kill your list by doing that. If you're only touching base with them very infrequently, unless that is the brand you have built, there are certain brands that have built their brand that way, that they only email once a month, once in 2 months. And then in that case, they have radically high open rates. But in a typical email marketing situation, if you pull away from marketing to that list for a period of time, when you come back to it, you're gonna notice that it's really dropped. You have been forgotten very quickly in the world of the internet. All right, again, unless you're a big brand, right? Which we have to work our way up to, but today at the beginning, it'll drop. Now you're gonna be in a situation where no one's paying attention. And in that situation, you have to do a whole different kind of campaign to what we say, revive your list, right? Again, how do we know all of this? There's only one way to know it. We watch the metrics. We see the data, and the data tells us what's going on.